Hello, I am Miles, and I'm going to be doing an OC Q&A. It's very fun, it's very exciting. But I think I could do a tiny introduction into the world and the two characters that I'm going to be answering questions for. Rowan and Istoria, they are two out of a shit ton of characters from my work in progress visual novel. It is in early development, but I plan to stick with it. So, hee. Get your butts ready. Nyctology is set in a fantasy world of humans and elves. Very creative, but, alright. The human world is more so inspired by the 1920s to 1940s. I know that's a very broad, very broad reach, literally 3 decades. The technology is not very advanced, it's like old-timey radio, basically. And they just made cars, that kind of shit. I like putting it in the way where it's like, don't think of it as a historical representation. It's more of like, hey, imagine this D&D world where, hey, look, there's like humans over there, and they really like science. That's them. That's basically them. Now, the elves have been isolated from the rest of the world since the medieval era. They closed off trade for reasons I am not going to give you, but they chose it, basically. They chose their own isolation. They are a kingdom behind castle walls, behind a forest within another forest that is just untouchable. And the humans stay away. They're like, yeah, we respect it. And plus, there's some scary shit in the forest. Don't know what the hell that is. Also laws. We agreed to things. We're gonna respect that. Some people don't. Wink, wink. But yeah, no, I think it's really cool. So you have a kingdom that's isolated for centuries, right? So how are the people going to react? There are people who just kind of have accepted it and they want to leave. I'm not going to get into this. This is way too much and I'm fucking tired. But whatever. Istoria. We care about Istoria. This is where he is. That's where he is. He's an elf. Okay. He's a librarian. He owns his own library. He lives in his library. And he's happy. He's kind of happy, He doesn't really have friends. He has friends. He has acquaintances. But he doesn't have any best friends. He doesn't have a partner. I'm not even sure if he's in touch with his family. I'm still working on it, but I can't even, it's a blank space right there for me, I can't, I don't even know if he has anyone, except for his books and his book buddies. It's very small talky, kind of. It's it's friendly. It's oh, what did you think about this book? How did it, impact you and affect you? There's that, it's cool, but he doesn't go out with anyone. He stays in. He stays in and reads his books. He'll chat about them, but he doesn't do things. But yeah, no, Istoria's favorite subject is history. And being isolated for centuries, the only history they have is their own and whatever they had collected before the gates closed. And unfortunately, he really loves human history, and maybe the fact that there hasn't been any since the medieval era is what makes it so fascinating to him. It's something to grab onto and wish for more of. But he thinks they're fascinating. He's what could they have possibly developed into? And you can't. The elves, they haven't really changed all that much. They've their fashion and other things, their government has evolved a tiny bit since the medieval era, but nothing like the humans have. When Istoria gets out of there, I assure you, he's in for a fucking surprise. And I mean, just come on, imagine. Oh, the medieval era, basically, where they still kind of are themselves, and you step out for the first time ever, and you see, a train You see radios and, like, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's really cool. Anyway, I'm gonna answer the fucking questions now. Okay, so what are their pronouns? Rowan is he, him. Istoria might be he, they, but I'm thinking he might be he, him. But we will see. We will decide. And, do they have siblings? Istoria might have siblings. Oh, we don't know. Rowan is an only child. Incredible. He probably wishes he had siblings, but alas, that is not the case. And are they fruity? Yes, they are both very fruity. They are the fruitiest fellows. What is Istoria's sexuality? He is bi, and so is Rowan. Most of the cast is because it's pretty romance centered, and I wanted to have gender options for Rowan, but I don't know. But I still feel like yeah, most of them are bi. Something calming and fun and maybe whimsical, but not so distracting that it's like something that you can have play in the background. But he has not. The elves don't have that technology yet. So I bet he will love records, dude. Istoria, when he discovers records, it's over. There will constantly be playing records. There will be music all the time in his library. It'll be his favorite thing ever. And what are they afraid of? Rowan is afraid of being an embarrassment and humiliating his mother, because she's so successful and he hasn't achieved anything, and that's fucking embarrassing. Like, that would be his worst nightmare, and he's living it, and it's not a good time, but man. Sure hope he never has to go to the college she works at. Oh my god, the college that she teaches at? Oh, it would suck if he had to be around a bunch of professors and students and people that are doing things with their lives, and oh, that would be the worst. Sure hope that never happens. Personal opinions on pineapple on pizza. Rowan is a fan of eccentric, odd foods, and he probably is doesn't think pineapple on pizza is that crazy, but he's like, hey, I appreciate that. That's cool. Yeah, he's probably not gonna go out of his way to eat it, but he's like, yeah, that's cool. Good on you. Good for those people who do enjoy it. In Astoria, he's never had pizza before, so he doesn't have any preconceptions of what pizza should be like. He's not gonna be like, oh, pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. He'll be like, oh yeah, you put some more shit on there. Okay, this is really greasy. He'd be happy to try pizza though. He'd be happy to experience it, but it's probably too greasy for elven taste buds, you know? Rowan, have you ever frolicked in a meadow during sunset? Yes, he has. Probably with his mom. When he was a kid. Maybe a teen, like preteen. Excuse me. Frolicking. They go out foraging or doing a little field study. How can you not frolic? How can you not play a little bit of tag? It's so cute. He'd be very embarrassed to answer that. Istoria, what's the longest time you've went without sleep? Probably 3 days. He probably does that a few times throughout the year. Like, every few months, he'll stay up. Much longer than he should. Why sleep when you can shove more information into your brain? This shit is just too good. I don't know if this is a good question, but are we allowed to do fan art? Yes, you are allowed to do fan art. I fucking love fan art. Eat that shit up, dude. you know, it's such a big honor because it's like I've made something and people perceived it, and then they're making things of it for it. Excuse me? It's incredible. It is one of the most incredible things that I think I've experienced in life. I fucking love fan art. What are their favorite foods? Rowan likes tea, specifically a lot of tea, and gently sweetened cookies. Like, what are they called? I think they're literally just called tea biscuits. He's like, that's the bomb. Love that. He probably really loves Aurora's cooking, his mom's cooking. Even though she's not around very often to do it, and she's not very good at cooking, but what she does make is his favorite, and he loves it very much. Istoria, he probably likes light snacks that he can just like munch on while reading. Things that don't get pages dirty or leave stains. And I've thought about that. Like, I think he would actually really like licorice because obviously it's not messy. It's not messy. It doesn't really go bad. Yeah. I feel like he'd really like licorice. And their favorite animal. I don't think either of them think about animals too much. Like, they're not really like, critters aren't really on their minds. I'd like to say that Rowan had a pet bunny rabbit when he was little. Like, they found one in the garden one time and begged his mom to let him keep it, and she did. And he probably kept it happy and healthy until it died, and now he hasn't had any other pets. And Istoria, he's not as interested in critters. He finds people more interesting. Let's see. He's not, if there was a cat, he'd probably, I feel like he probably actually has a pet cat. I'm so silly for not even thinking of that before. He probably has a cat in his library, and he probably loves it dearly. But other than that, he'll be happy to see, a pet, but he's not super into it. And he probably really loves the dragonflies that fly over the pond at sunset. That might be, so moving to him. He thinks it's beautiful. Rowan, what do you work as? Occupation? Bro, what's your job? What is bro's job? He is unemployed. He's unemployed and ashamed. That is, the best question you could have asked Rowan. That is the best one. What's your job? What do you do? And he's like, I stay home and fuck around, just listen to the radio, go insane. Poor guy. He needs to get out. If he could though, he would sell his tea. He would make tea and sell it. And he does make it. And he knows how to run a garden, but he just has his hoard of tea blends that he's made, and his mom gives them out to her what are they called? They're not they are co-workers, but whatever, her buddies on the field. She's like, hey, my son made this, take this shit. And they're like, oh wow, what is that? That smells weird. It's like, oh, it's just hibiscus and cinnamon. Whoa, excuse me. He likes to experiment. Yeah, no, it's yeah. What is Istoria's favorite book? Istoria's favorite book is a journal from a human in the medieval era that personally discovered the Elven Kingdom and the territories within for the first time. Like, from their perspective, what their thoughts and opinions and feelings and were, and like the people they met, and the comparisons they made to their life and their culture. And I think that is very beautiful and kind of ironic, but because he has this, like, he has such a huge interest in the humans' culture, just other people, and his favorite book is the experience of somebody experiencing his culture, from the past at least. Their culture has changed a little bit over the past few centuries, but yeah, he loves that. It's very dear to him. It means a lot to him. Let's see. What are their least favorite foods? Or what is their worst nightmare? Rowan's worst nightmare is being a failure and humiliating his mom. Said it before, said it again, it is real, he is living it. It'd be like right in front of her, I feel. Like, and make it worse, it would be like publicly humiliating his mom in front of I lost the word again. What the hell? The people that work with you, but it's not coworkers. I don't know. Whatever. I'm tired, okay? Oh man, yeah, Istoria's worst nightmare would be leaving a negative impact on the world. Even if it was by accident, like if he just made shit worse and he was known for it, and he would just, that would be his absolute worst nightmare. Hope I never do that to them. Let's see. Is Istoria's hair dyed or naturally teal? His hair is naturally teal because I have... Listen, I love colorful hair, and I cannot stop myself from slapping colors onto my OCs. So, tense fingers, I came up with a reason, like a lore reason to get away with doing that to so many of my characters. Specifically, like, I'm like, okay, so the elves all have colorful hair. Their hair grows out, like, different, like, the pigment, legitimately, like, changes, over time, like, as it grows out. And, I feel like Istoria has had blue before. He's had blue before. And he really wishes he could have mauve. You know, like a dull purple pink. Like, he's like, sees people with mauve hair, and he's like, when is it my turn? Give me your hair. No, he's not evil, but a hint of jealousy. He's like, and just imagine, like, oh man, I want like purple, and it grows out green. You're like, damn it! No! Fucking teal! He looks really good with teal, so he can be quiet. What are their relationships to each other? Rowan is the player character in my game, and Istoria is a side character who can be romanced. So, you can either... So their relationship can go from, oh, you just dislike each other, you're in disagreement, or you're... anything in between that, and being best buddies, and then being in love. I don't think there's a canon relationship for them. It really is just up to you. Someone on TikTok asked if either of them would cut their hair, and Rowan is trans, so his hair was long for like the first half of his life, and then he keeps it short. His mom cuts his hair, and I think that's hilarious. He cuts it himself too, but it was almost always his mom before. And Istoria, he cuts his own hair, because he's like, you know, like, my hair's not all that important. Like, It's not that important, you know. I'll just do this myself. But he keeps his braid. He likes his braid. He likes having a long braid. It's not that long yet, but he's like, I want it to be really long. I'm gonna grow out this braid. I don't know. Just like, yeah, I'm just gonna have a really fucking awesome braid. Thank you for listening to me, be a dweeb, and thank you for having interest in my characters and my story, and maybe even potentially my game. And maybe if you subscribe, you will get to hear more about them and my design process, and I will be happy to yap nonsensically about it. It will be very incoherent, but you know, an attempt is an attempt. And I hope to have Nyctology out, the demo out by the end of this year. And I'm just saying, subscribing would let you know how the development's going. I'm just saying.